Hi, I'm Johnny Bairstow and welcome to the ELN Yearly Review. It's been a really busy year working as a journalist in the energy sector, with Brexit constantly mixing things up, the purge of plastics continuing at full pace, and of course it's been impossible to ignore the rise of renewable. But what stories have kept you, the readers, coming back to our website again and again through 2018? I'm going to run you through the top 10 stories of the year, starting at number 10.
10.
So is the UK's smart meter rollout looking so clever after all? A story we wrote back in February this year would suggest not. It actually said the £11 billion programme to roll out 50 million smart meters across the country was overdue in terms of budget and time frame. It said that we'd actually need to achieve a deployment rate of 24 smart meters every minute from February up until the end of the year if the 2020 deadline was to be hit. So that was a pretty gloomy outlook made back in February, and unfortunately the National Audit Office has done little to kind of reassure us of that. They released a report recently suggesting that they didn't think the deadline was actually going to be reached either. So I don't know, it doesn't look as if it's going to be good news for the smart meter rollout anytime soon, I'm afraid.
9.
So this one is for all of you football fans out there. Tottenham Hotspurs Football Club made a very smart energy decision earlier this year by installing smart energy infrastructure across its new stadium. So that involves smart heating, smart lighting, and of course a smart energy management system to control that. The system actually refreshes itself 60,000 times every minute to make sure the club is optimised as much as possible, reducing its carbon footprint and saving it money, most importantly, on its energy bills. So I suppose you could say that's a real winning effort from the football club there.
8.
So everyone knows that wholesale power prices have been rising through the year, but the story that really got your attention on our website is when British Gas raised their prices for the second time. So this 3.8% increase in prices added about £44 to the average standard variable tariff bill and affected around 3.5 million people. So if you're one of those customers affected, that's actually around 9 pints down your local pub that you could be missing out on this Christmas.
7.
So on the subject of rising energy bills, we've actually got a story about energy switching startup Look After My Bills, which appeared on hit TV show Dragon's Den earlier this year. They actually sold just 3% of their equity, which is a record low, for a total of £120,000. So that's a great result for them. The company actually works by finding customers the best energy deals on the market and automatically switching them to those deals without having to have any input from the customers at all. So that seems to me like a great solution in tackling, the problem we have across the sector of really poor customer engagement.
6.
So as we all know, electric vehicles have been a massive driving point in 2018. And this story is no exception. You all clicked on it. It's about Flowstate Batteries, and these are batteries that could actually charge your electric car in seconds rather than hours. That would work by emptying out the depleted battery liquid as it would work and refilling that with charged up stuff from a pump, much like diesel or petrol at the moment. So I think this is a great solution. It actually overcomes some of the barriers to EV adoption, such as you need to install a charger at your house or find a convenient charger out in the wild somewhere. And you can actually maybe use existing infrastructure, so it's a thumbs up from me.
5.
So you love batteries and you love nanotechnology, but what about graphene? Yep, so it turns out you love graphene too. Stories with graphene have always done very well on our website, whether they're involving bike tyres or energy storage. The one that did very well this year is actually about the latter. It's about how incorporating graphene with lithium batteries could help improve the amount of cycles you get out of them, improve their durability, kind of cut down the costs as well, basically improve them in every way. And importantly, this isn't just for things like electric vehicle batteries to cut down on emissions there and prices of electric cars, but it also works for phones. So I'm very excited because I have to charge my phone about every 10 minutes because it runs out of battery so often. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
4.
So 2018 has also seen a whole range of celebrities getting involved in the whole sustainable environment scene. And Star Wars favourite Harrison Ford is no different. Speaking at the Global Climate Action Summit, he said that restoring the natural world is actually the best way that we can kind of get things going to saving the planet. Sounds obvious, but he says restoring things like rainforests, wetlands, peatlands would actually allow them to act as a natural carbon sink and start reducing emissions and saving the environment. But remember guys, he can't do it solo.
3.
So moving into third place, while rising wholesale costs are forcing big six suppliers to put up their prices, they're actually forcing many small businesses to go out of business altogether. Ozio Energy made headlines earlier this year when it was forced to close its doors, leaving 7,000 customers in the lurch. It's not the only one. 9 small energy suppliers have actually gone out of business in 2018, but who knows, maybe there'll be time for one more. We've still got 2 weeks left, so fingers crossed there won't be one, but let's keep an eye out.
2.
Moving into second place, we've got a story about the US, Japan and Mexico, who have teamed up to say that non-state actors are absolutely essential in tackling the effects of climate change. They say that organisations such as schools, universities, regional governments and even businesses could halve the emissions gap of 2 degrees Celsius in line with the Paris Agreement. For the sake of the environment, I hope they're right.
1.
So we're now at first place on our list, and what could be the most viewed story of 2019, if not for the closure of the FeedIn tariff scheme. So the scheme, which was originally announced in 2010, aimed to subsidise renewable technologies, but it's now been announced earlier this year that it's going to be shelved in April 2019 because people say that the cost is too expensive and so the government has decided to actually withdraw funding from the scheme there. But I think this is a good idea because that money can now be used in other more innovative avenues going forward. It costs a lot, the feed-in tariff scheme, and I think the money can be used to bring up other technologies because renewables are now pretty cost competitive with other more traditional forms of generation. So I'm personally really excited, looking forward to see what 2019 could bring and what that money could be used to support. I'll probably be speaking to you in about a year's time to do the summary of next year's happenings. This year's been very busy. Obviously Brexit's been stirring things up along with a whole manner of other news, and I'm sure 2019 will be no different. So until then, have a great Christmas, a good new year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.